a great way to play baseball, the right way to play baseball. You know, new era of baseball have gotten away from that. But, yeah, just good baseball the way around, using those flags, you know. Yeah.
Yeah, I think every season has a spurt where it sucks, and then every season has a spurt where it's unbelievable. And I think we're hitting the spurt that sucks, and I think we're going to hit the spurt that's unbelievable, you know. I think our second half is going to show who we are as a team, our ability to bounce back and really be that band of brothers together. So just have faith in us.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Marty Time TV in the Section 1904 podcast. We are brought to you by the all-new Hamul Casino Resort, the Players Place. I just want to say, we made it. Darren Smith, AJ Cassavell, a couple more days to go, and all the speculation, all the wondering will be behind us. Or will it, fellas? How you guys doing today?
Good.
I want to know how AJ's doing. Yeah.
I'm ready to go to Pickle Park for the first time in like 16 days. Feels like I haven't been back there in forever, right? 16 is that number?
Yeah, it's been a long
kind of a different vibe too.
Time.
Coming back after all that time, and they're kind of playing a little bit better. But the road trip was also terrible for a while. It's been a lot of stuff has happened since the last time I sat in that seat, second seat.
Been a minute. Yeah, I am in my mother's living room, in case anybody's wondering. I know sometimes people get fixated on things that are happening in the background. So, yes, I am in my mother's living room. We had a situation here that required me to be on the East Coast for some to-be-determined amount of time. But, yeah, I'm looking at this from afar. You know what I'm super excited about? I'm super excited to be staying up until 1 o'clock in the morning watching the Padres. Because that's going to be just a ton of fun to watch here on the East Coast. So super excited about that. And I'm with you. I'm kind of curious. I think this is such a fascinating week, right? Especially when you consider who the teams are that are coming in to visit Petco Park. And will the Padres kind of be, those like carry-on eaters just picking apart the carcasses of the Colorado Rockies and the San Francisco Giants potentially for any sort of spare parts? I don't know. So I think it's just a very interesting week. So I'm looking forward to it even from 3,000 miles away.
And that would be what good teams do, right? Like a lot of people, I've seen a lot of people that are like, oh, they swept the Marlins, big deal. Like that shouldn't tell you anything. But I don't know. I don't know if this team, I don't know what this team ends up being, but the 2023 team was so bad in those situations against teams that they should have been beating. And then the 2024 team in the second half beat the crap out of bad teams. So like that's what if they go 5-1, that doesn't mean that they're beating up on bad teams, then it's not worth anything. That's what you have to do to make the playoffs.
Well, this is interesting because we brought this up the other day, I want to say on Friar territory, AJ, and I would defer to you on this because, we started just kicking around the idea, right? There's these different websites that tell you what remaining strength of schedule is. And the Padres, at least for NL wildcard contenders, have one of the easiest ones. Do you factor that in if you're this front office? Now, of course, you got to get through this week, right? You can't step on the rake against the Colorado Rockies or the San Francisco Giants. Like you said, you have to perform this week. That's what makes it such a fascinating week is nobody really knows what direction this is going to go in. But, if you're thinking about what to do or how to approach the deadline, if you don't fall flat on your face, like how much do you consider what the remaining schedule looks like? And that it is, at least statistically, according to winning percentage, one of the easier ones for the NL wildcard teams.
You factor it in. Yeah, it should be kind of I don't know if it should be a big factor, but it should be part of it. Where if you're in a game and a half back and you have a significantly easier, they've played most of their games against the Dodgers. They've played Cubs. They've played the Brewers, one of the series, I guess, and they played the Braves. Like they've played most of these teams that are going to be in the playoffs already and are through at that, and it should be easier down the stretch. It's not a colossally easy schedule. There's some tough series in there, and I haven't looked in the last week or so, but it was one of the easier, but not by a whole lot. So I think you factored in a little bit. I also think there's some like kind of funny little quirks to the schedule, like the fact that they play the Diamondbacks 4 games starting the night of the trade deadline is kind of hilarious to me because there's a scenario in which they buy at the deadline and then they drop 3 or 4 of the Diamondbacks and. All of a sudden they're a few games back and wishing they sold. There's also a scenario in which they sell and they sweep the Diamondbacks or something and they're in playoff position wishing they'd bought. So I'm sure they would like to have those 4 games of data and information because from where I'm looking, the Diamondbacks are the team that they probably need to leap to get to the playoffs. There's a lot of teams in contention. The Pirates, I think, are decent. I'm not buying the Nationals or the Cardinals, but the Diamondbacks are the one, and they play them 4 games after the deadline. So I don't know. You take every bit of information you can, factor it in, but I also think there's probably a preference anyway for this front office to go out and buy.
AJ, you made I thought you did a very good job of summing it up in your last piece on MLB.com about how the Padres played. Like the guys who helped key them to victory, the sweep over the Marlins, is probably more important than the actual sweep itself. I mean, the results matter. Every single game matters, but how big is it that they are finally seeing something, what they expected from Jackson Merrill?
Yeah, and just the offense in general. Like the fact that all 3 of those guys, all 3 of their big guys are hitting. Like they were hanging around for a while this season without hitting and kind of looking terrible. Like they looked terrible offensively. They were the worst offense in baseball in the middle of June. If that had continued and they weren't much better, but they were still somehow hanging around and 3 games back, even if they had the same exact record, but weren't hitting and needed to go out and add a bat, I think if they have less of a case as buyers because there would have been too many needs. Like they only have so many resources. If they need to go out and buy 2 hitters and 2 starting pitchers and maybe a reliever, like then the needs are they should go about doing it because they're still struggling. This offense looking like it has for the last month and a half convinces me a little bit that maybe you let it ride with the offense and now you can allocate your resources to where the real need is, which is in the starting rotation.
AJ, can I ask, why do you think the offense is performing much better? And I say that as somebody who was probably on the side of, what is the season Steven Souza guy all about? You know, rookie hitting coach with a rookie manager. We talked about it. I don't have any reservations about some of the stuff that I said. And if it's time to give him some flowers for this, then by all means. Manny's figured it out. We learned a little bit about Manny's offseason approach. Jackson's figured it out. So what do you attribute the Padres? Is it just cyclical and it was always going to somehow make it towards the mean, right? The whole back of the baseball card stuff. I mean, is that what it was, or are they doing something different?
I think there's part of it that's cyclical, and they're just back to who they are as hitters. I think Steven Souza deserves a little bit of credit, much in the way he deserved some of the blame early in the season. But I'm still kind of holding out till the end of the season, so we have like a full year of sample on these hitters and like kind of how they sustained to give a kind of fair and reasoned analysis. Just like I've been saying all along with Craig Stammen too. Like I don't know these guys well enough, and they don't have enough experience for me to know how they will handle the ups and downs of a full baseball season. But I think some of the adjustments Jackson Merrill has made could be to him, and also credited to Jackson Merrill. Like I think there were some specific swing tweaks that the Padres made with Merrill. Like his swing is already kind of an uppercut swing. It got a little too uppercutty, and like there was some emphasis on bringing it back down to just where it was kind of what it always had been for him before it maybe got out of whack. I don't know if that's Merrill buying into what the Padres were asking. I don't know specifics like how they got to that tweak, but I think what it's allowed Jackson Merrill to do is feel more like Jackson Merrill in the box, is feel more like he has the swing that can get you. And all of a sudden, like he's talking more like what I know from Jackson Merrill. Like he wants to go out and kick your ass if you're the starting pitcher. And he's said a couple things post game where that's more like the guy in 2024. Whether it's swing tweaks, whether it's mentality, there's a lot of reasons. But I think having Merrill going, Machado, it's interesting. We talked to him after the game on Sunday in Miami, and he was sitting at his locker talking about sticking to the plan, sticking to the course. And like for just a second, I kind of like got outside of myself, and I was like, I could imagine him sitting right here saying these exact same things in Philadelphia after they had gotten swept, and it was the worst. It was like he says the same thing. Like it was so even keel and so Manny Machado that I didn't know. Like just for a second, I was like, this is part of the reason why this guy's this successful, is because when it's going wrong, he is convicted in his approach, just like he is when it's going right. So I don't know how much has changed with Manny, other than he's completely stayed the course. But with Merrill, I think there's some obvious very good signs of changes and the offense going in the right direction.
To your point, Manny Machado is so even keeled. Like it's the same sort of response oftentimes. Now he might say, "Did you guys doubted us?" Blah 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 blah. With Jackson Merrill man, you can tell when things are getting to him, when he is struggling, when he's frustrated. He wears it. He wears his emotions. I mean, his body language. That's who he is. But I think, are you saying now that Jackson Merrill has his swag back? Is that what we're seeing with that?
I kind of think so.
Guy in particular, who really has had to deal last year with the injuries, and this year with real struggles for the first time in his career.
Hasn't been long enough for me to say it's like all the way back, but like some of the things he's saying and the way he's acting and the way he's just playing, as opposed to maybe overthinking it, looks a lot like Jackson Merrill, or at least what you want him to look like.
AJ, there's been so much conversation. I think the last time you joined us, you talked about the idea of the Padres being buyers and sellers simultaneously. They need their starting pitching. The thing I don't get, because you're talking about, how the offense is picking up. One guy we had talked about possibly moving should they become sellers was Ty France, who is one of the hottest hitters in baseball right now, who could help a lot of teams looking for offense. But if you're the Padres and you're going to kind of go for it and add some pitching, why would you trade Ty France? How can you afford to trade Ty France at this point?
I'll couch this with saying I wouldn't. Like, if you're going for it, I wouldn't trade Ty France. But I think the logic behind it would be you're selling high on him. Like, you wonder kind of maybe what is his OPS right now? Like 860? I think Ty France is a pretty good hitter. I don't know if he's an 860 OPS guy. So you're selling high on him, and you need pitching as bad as you do. If you can get parts that land you the pitching, maybe that makes sense. Now, again, if you're going for it, I wouldn't do that. I don't really like the idea of buying, of this like kind of threading the needle between buying and selling. I guess if you're going to do it, Ty France is the one that makes sense. I've seen Morihone talked about in that light as well, because it's the last year of his deal and because the bullpen's already a Padres strength. I think that makes some sense if you're just trying to get to the playoffs, but it's like, why would you you're not going to win in October without Morihone. I'm looking at what the Padres matchups might be. So I just don't understand that one. I don't love the idea of buying and selling. I think to pick a lane and go with it. But I guess we'll see. Ty France could make sense. He's a first baseman. He's a very good first baseman, but you can find those. And maybe you're selling high on him. Maybe you get pieces for pitching. But again, that's just me kind of playing devil's advocate. That's not what I would do.
For what it's worth, since I mentioned I'm in my mother's living room, I had access to the Yankee game last night. The Yankees were playing the Chicago White Sox. And so I was tuned in and I was watching this broadcast. And Michael Kay and Joe Girardi, that is the television tandem. By the way, watching a non-Padre game on television is a totally different experience. I don't do it very often, so this was a little bit of a culture shock. But anyway, and they were talking about how bad the situation is with the Yankees and how much they need right-handed hitting, because Bellinger's down, Stanton's down, Judge is down. All of them are down, and they expect all of those guys out 4 to 6 weeks. So they were talking on the broadcast how, like, they better figure out a way. They're calling guys up who they don't think are ready for the big leagues. And I'm with you. I'm not trying to ship Ty France out of town. He's probably pretty popular in the clubhouse too. Like, that's another thing you have to think about, right? Like, how does this impact the chemistry? Especially if you're not going to be out there and you're going to be adding players who you say, all right, we can get rid of Eric Hosmer because we're bringing in Juan Soto. Like, we'll deal with that. But, now all of a sudden it's like, I don't know. Like, that's a guy who's, pretty important for us inside of our culture. But I don't know, for whatever it's worth, I just thought that was interesting that they were bringing that up on the Yankee broadcast. I'm sure there's other right-handers out there, but if in fact you're looking for some team that's desperate and might have something to offer in exchange, maybe.
Okay, sorry.
All right, fine.
Okay,
I'll tell you what else I listened to since I'm just like rattling off all the things.
Wait a second.
I was driving around earlier today. I actually think this is interesting because I think something weird is happening, and it's not something that I fully understand. That I get a lot of pushback when Marty and I did Friar Territory. I'm sure we'll get some pushback here on this podcast. There seems to be a surprising amount of Padre fans, and I don't want this to be interpreted as criticism, but just maybe a little bit of confusion. There seems to be a surprising amount of Padre fans who are sort of already decided that they don't want the team to do anything. They don't want to subtract anything. They just feel like, hey, I've seen enough of this team. It's not been an enjoyable 106 games. I don't care that they beat the crappy Marlins. You're not going to impress me beating the Rockies and the San Francisco Giants. And the Padres shouldn't be thinking about buying. They should be thinking about selling, retooling, because what difference does it make? They're never going to make the World Series anyway. And though I wouldn't completely disagree with that, I was driving around because I have to go from one point to another here. I'll share the details somewhere down the road. And so, of course, I flip on sports talk radio in New York because why wouldn't I? And one of the guys that was on the radio is a Mets fan. He's like, I would do anything to have a team that goes to the playoffs every year. Like, life is so miserable for Mets fans. This is just an awful existence. Even I'd rather be a team like the Yankees. They go to the World, they go to the playoffs all the time. And I just like, I don't know. I feel like somehow I feel like we're just downgrading, I guess, the playoffs a little bit. Maybe it's because it's an expanded playoff field and a lot of fans feel like, well, what's the point of getting our hopes up? Is it good enough just to go to the playoffs, or do you have to have a team that you believe can win the World Series? And I can tell you, like, there's a lot of baseball fans around the country that would love to go to the playoffs, especially for a third straight season and 4 out of 5. And I'm not here to don't work for the Padres, but I think a lot of fans would trade places with you. I like the idea. If you can figure out a way to get to the playoffs, take your shot, man. I keep thinking about the Diamondbacks from 2023, crapped all over that team. Went to the World Series, not saying it's going to happen here, but also not saying
it's not impossible. It's not impossible. It's right there. And like, this is a roster. I don't think they're bound for the World Series anyway, but it's a roster that has some pieces that could play better in October than they are right now. There's one of them right there. Like, you get those guys back. You don't have to have them going 6 innings, like, because you've got the bullpen that you have. You get Jason Adam back. Like, they can win short series. They can, like, and those one thing I'll always kind of, there's a lot of talk right now about CJ Abrams and James Wood. Like, I understand that the Padres had those guys, they'd be a better team, but also they might not get that 2022 playoff run because without Juan Soto, I don't know that they beat the Dodgers. I don't know that they make the playoffs. Like, they were kind of teetering around that deadline and then went on a run afterward.
So
that kind of laid the foundation for what this is, where they've gone to the playoffs 4 times in the last 5 years. And like, so you look at it through that lens, like, just getting there gives you a chance to do something that, like, I watch a lot of baseball games. I don't remember every single baseball game. Like, the ones I remember are the ones that happen in, like, the clinchers and the ones that happen in October. And so, like, as a fan, aren't those the ones that you want? Now, I think there's a lot to be said for, like, I think that segment of Padres fans, if they shift their maybe kind of like thought process to, I haven't seen enough from this team to warrant them doing what they've done at past deadlines. 2022, like, this team, based on what I've seen, this team should not be trading Ethan Salas. Like, they haven't earned that right. They're not, like, this. I don't see this team going all in and having enough of a chance at making that run to warrant that. Like, if that's where you want to put your kind of criticism of this team, like, don't trade the big guys. But I think you can get a couple starting pitchers for a couple good but not great prospects. And if that's what gets you to October and that gets you into a 3-game series against the Braves in Atlanta, like, they could win that. This bullpen being what it is, and then from there you play the Brewers in Milwaukee. Like, why not? That all sounds really fun. Like, I'd rather have a team that's doing that every year than
you have a chance. You would have a chance. I just wonder, like, okay, I guess none of us are going to count the 2020 season. That was the COVID season, right? The COVID playoff, the 60 games, right? We don't count that. But how many people realistically, dig down deep, are willing to sacrifice 6-7 years of thinking you have a legitimate chance because you're so eager to fast forward and bring up the prospects, bring up the young guys? Like, I see that. Hey, let's get started with the future. Guys, there's no guarantees that rebuilds work. They don't. Not all prospects pan out. Who was the guy? Was it Jared Kelenic? Like, he was just I forgot where he ended up. He was a top prospect in baseball, and he was just DFA. You don't know with prospects. You don't know. Right now, they legitimately have some very good players. If you have a chance, I think you got to go for it. I would be hesitant to go ahead and be like, let's bring in all.
But would you trade the big prospects?
Salas?
On this team?
No, because you don't, number one, you've got like one big prospect.
What if they go 6-0 this week and you're on a 9-game winning streak?
I still am not doing it. I still
probably
don't think
wouldn't either.
It's definitely
yeah,
going to happen. It is 100% happening. They're going 6-0, right?
Or they're like go
Right?
0-6, and we'll be like, God, what a bunch of losers.
Oh, right,
I mean,
right.
honestly, like I think those would be the two outcomes the front office would be most happy with. Like they would just like to know what this team is. So if they go
Like
6-0,
3-3, like,
that's the best. That's the best case scenario. But if they go 0-6, isn't that better than 2-4 and being like
Yes.
2.5 games back?
Rip
Yeah.
the Band-Aid. Like this is
I don't know.
enough, right?
Like I said, I was just driving around and I was listening to this guy. I was like, man, I would just love to be able to go to the playoffs. I'd love to be one of those teams that could go every year. And I'm like, yeah, okay, I get it. You follow a loser franchise. And historically, it's kind of what the Padres are. You know, they kind of are a loser franchise. So all of a sudden, we've gotten spoiled to the point where like going to the playoffs or trying to improve yourself to go to the playoffs might not be good enough for some, which I just think is like a fascinating part of this fan base right now is that again, maybe I'm paying too much attention to social media and that doesn't represent the fan base writ large, but I don't know. I just find it interesting that anybody would say that not going to the playoffs is better than going to the playoffs. Like I don't understand that.
I also agree with you, but I guess I'll play devil's advocate here because you could get a lot for some of these pieces. So if they go 2-4 and if they're 3.5 games out, like you can get a lot for some of these guys to set up playoff runs in like 4 of the next 5 years. So if that's your thought process, I guess I don't disagree with that, but I also just wouldn't say that with where they are right now. Like they're close enough.
Yeah. And I think your point from earlier is they are set up. They are not really set up for 162, but if you get across that finish line and you're in the playoffs, they are set up for a short series.
They are definitely set for the wild card round. This
Yeah.
team is
But
it's
getting
Michael
there,
King
like,
and
yeah.
bullpen game.
Yeah.
By the way, okay. Again, I would agree with you, AJ. You cannot be not with as mismatched as this roster is. You cannot be buyers and sellers. The idea of selling off trading Morahone when right now you have one starting pitching and you're depending on these bullpen games and Jason Adams isn't back and Estrada isn't back and who knows what they look like when they do return. That to me that's a terrifying idea. I don't know why.
Well, then what are you going to do in October? Like who are you going to face in October? You're going to face Harper and Schwarber and Ohtani.
Right, you need those guys.
And Freeman. Like you need Adrian Morejon to like there are some unbelievable left-handed hitters in the National League. And Adrian Morejon is like the neutralizer. So like if I get trading Morejon for controllable pitching, starting pitching. That's a reasonable move. It's not a reasonable move if you want to win in the playoffs this year, though. So at least be honest with what you're doing if you're trading Adrian Morejon, which as of right now, they're a game and a half back. I don't think they are.
By the way, did I just see that Adrian Morejon changed agents, that he's no longer with Scott Boras, that he's going with
Evolve?
Dan Lozano Sports Group, which is Manny and Tatis's agent. Just interesting. We also asked the question the other day, AJ, as a longtime baseball fan, you probably have heard the phrase spawn insane and pray for rain.
Yes.
So we were trying to come up with King and Bueller and whatever. And Sonny Fono says Bueller and King and any damn thing. So that's not bad.
I like that.
It's a 2-man rotation right now. I don't know if you got a better one, but
I'm a big fan of this.
Yeah.
This is what they should have done this a month ago. Like this is the best way you can win games with the 13 pitchers that you have right now. It's not ideal. It's not how you would draw it up if you could pick any 13 pitchers. But if you had these 13 pitchers, this is the best way to win games. So I'm like the big burden on Michael King. He needs to be good and he needs to provide length. But if he does that tonight, I'm excited to see. I'm like really excited for the next 3 days. It's fun to kind of think through what they can do and what they should do and the matchups that they'll face.
All these game sevens. I'm buckling up for 4-hour games. 4-hour, 3 to 2
They are longer games.
They are longer games, and there's so much importance on every single one. Hey, AJ, I'm sure we'll get some maybe more clarity later at Petco Park. But what's happening with Pivetta and Musgrove? What's the next step for both of those guys? And Samad Taylor. Remember, Samad Taylor was a spark plug a month ago. He has the oblique injury. Are we going to see him again, or what's his situation?
Yeah, he's supposed to be back. Well, I don't forget when the injury happened exactly. I think it was early July. Obliques are like not a thing that you rush, so he's not doing very much right now.
Okay.
But I think that's like late August is the plan for that. And Pivetta and Musgrove are throwing another. They faced hitters last week, which is a pretty big deal, I think. They're throwing another live BP in Arizona at some point this week, so I don't think we'll see them.
Okay.
At least maybe until later in the week. But like another live BP, 2 innings, you would assume. To me, that like they're not too far off from a rehab stint. And from there, like, it gets really interesting because I guess the question worth asking maybe today or as they get closer is like, what do you need from them to be convinced that they're ready? Like, because right now your starters are only going 3 innings anyway. So, like, do you need them built up to go 6-7 innings? Like, you probably want them. I guess that's probably what the Padres would say, but there's an argument to be made that you bring them back when they're even just ready to go 5 if they're showing enough of what you need. Like, elbow injuries are still tricky.
A player that nobody ever asks about anymore is Lucas Giolito. Has everybody just forgotten that this guy was is on the IL? Not one that I'm necessarily saying the keys to the entire season rest on Lucas Giolito, but whatever happened to that guy?
He's in the any damn thing, Bueller and King and any damn thing. So he's like, I mean, when he's back, which I think he's throwing, I think he's like around the same progression as Pivetta and Musgrove, but I would expect him maybe to be back quicker because the layoff wasn't obviously nearly as long. But when he's back, are you trusting him with 6 innings, or is he kind of fall into the? I think he goes into the. Yeah, he goes into 2 1/3, get through the righty lanes, and then hand it over to Kyle Hart or whoever.
Kyle Hart.
I know. I just feel like nobody ever asked about that guy. Like when he got here, it's like, oh wow, Lucas Giolito, and it's like, all right, well, that was fun. Whatever happened to, right? Remember when? But,
I mean, I would argue like when he's back, it's an upgrade over like a Griffin Canning type.
Yeah,
I think there's a reason to be looking out for what he's doing in his return, but I just wouldn't throw him into a traditional starter role based on what we saw.
AJ, did you see AJ Preller in Miami? I believe he was there.
I did. Yes.
Does he sound different to you?
I didn't talk to him. I saw him, but I didn't talk to him. Why would he sound different?
Oh, I don't know. It's just been reported by one rival GM anonymously through Bob Nightingale that AJ Preller sounds different.
Oh, well.
You didn't see that report? I don't know.
No, I didn't see that. There's a lot of reports about AJ Preller.
Yes, there are.
I if I had to guess, I think the Padres are more realistic about this. Let's be this team. They've won 3 straight games over the Marlins. They're in contention, but they're a 500 team with the 9th best record in the National League with 15% playoff odds. Like that is also true.
They doubled their odds.
So I think I think the front office is maybe more realistic about like you don't trade for Tanner Scott type moves. Like you don't go and give up big prospects for a guy that's gonna like this team that hasn't necessarily earned the all in that we saw at the 2022 and 24 and 25 trade deadlines. That doesn't mean 100%. You can't improve them in different ways.
Yep. I mean, like you can go out there and figure out a way to improve your odds of being one of the 6 best teams in the National League. And you take your chances. Like you said, set up
and
for
you
a
can do it.
Series.
You could do it by trading for pitchers who have control, who have another year, who can help your team in 2027 as well.
Give us a name. You got a name top of your head that you like?
Give us 3 names. Let's start
wildly speculate so the aggregators can pick it up.
Here's a question that I kind of posed in my newsletter, which is like the quantity versus quality question with the Padres. Like, do you want to go out and give up a whole bunch of pieces for Joe Ryan? Or do you want to trade for Reed Detmers and Clay Holmes and have 2 guys in your rotation? Like, I think generally speaking, AJ Preller in the past has swung big and he's gone for the big names. But I think there's maybe an argument that with this rotation, that if you can get 2 number 4 starters, that gets you there. That's what you need. Like that fills in the gaps with this rotation. So those are 3 names. You asked for 3 names.
We've speculated about Clay Holmes here as well. I think he just pitched a rehab start. Now this is a guy who broke his leg. He's with the Mets. I'm watching all the shit out here on the East Coast, so I understand this very acutely.
You're in the perfect spot for the deadline. By the way, you're in the perfect
I'm just driving around listening to WFAN and like they're talking about trading Francisco Lindor. And
the Mets are selling everybody, right? They're selling everybody. Is Shamanaya available? Can the Padres go ahead and bring back Shamanaya?
Why not?
Yeah, I mean, he's a warm body. Let's go.
Yep.
Yankees want Mason Miller. They want Morohone. They want Ty France. Let's go.
Yep. Yeah. Anyway, like I said, I can give you all the scoop here. And I just did. I thought that stuck out to me that the guy's like, man, I'd give anything to have a team that goes to the playoffs and doesn't really have a chance because it's better than this. Like, yeah, it probably is. But people disagree. Here's the exact quote. When you talk to AJ, one GM said, quote, he just doesn't sound the same. So I don't know how to interpret that. Maybe that just means he's not shooting the moon here, but
yeah, that's how I would interpret that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of my gauge, and maybe things have changed, but that's kind of my gauge on the front office's approach to the deadline, is that they understand, like, there are ways to improve the Padres and get them to the playoffs, but I also don't know if it's worth doing what they've done in the past, which is not like when they say selling the farm or depleting the farm, like, they obviously quibble with that, but like, that's kind of what they've done. I don't know if I see that happening.
Maybe he sounds different because every single year, right? When, AJ Preller has been baseball's like favorite guy because he's associated with every superstar out there. Oh, hey, you can't count him out. Maybe this is the first time you can count out AJ Preller for the Scoobles because they don't line up. They don't have the guys and they know it.
And not to put anybody in a weird spot here to comment on other reporters, but I think AC Today had something about they will have a, quote, minimal amount of money to operate with at the deadline. So I don't know what that means, but I think he also sort of tossed out there that Ethan Salas may in fact be in play. I don't know. But yeah, I'm not sure how all that works in the background.
Ethan Salas will be in play because you talk about what you can get for Ethan Salas, but you should find that out. Doesn't mean that they'll do it.
Fascinating week too. I think this is one of the more interesting weeks of AJ Preller's career. I do.
I think he's okay. I agree. Both of you. Now I'm not sure how much time you guys have, but
I had to turn the air conditioning off to do this because this is like an old New York apartment and they don't have central air, and I am dying. So what I'm trying to say is, like, without the air conditioning, I'm on limited minutes right now. You remember what it's like, AJ. It's just like hot here and it's humid and it looks like it's going to thunderstorm any second. And so I had to turn off the air conditioning. So I'm sitting here in a puddle of my own sweat.
I can sympathize with you. It's 74 degrees and I have an oscillating fan on.
Hey, I had an update here since I'm not in Imperial Beach that there's some sort of high surf, like 7-foot waves, like 8 foot waves. There's all sorts of stuff happening out there in the ocean. What's going on?
Insane this morning. Insane waves. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
You guys see that video of the lifeguard save up the coast? I forgot where that was. I think it was in maybe it was in Huntington or something like that. You guys no? Nobody saw that? Oh man. No. Wow. Pretty dramatic stuff. So yeah, it's crazy out there.
Lifeguard save?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Lifeguard kid out there getting swept, vicious undertow.
Yikes.
Lifeguard went out and got the job done. But it took some effort. It took a lot. So yeah, I'm kind of jealous that I'm missing that, because I would love to go out there and watch the waves roll in instead of dealing with this stuff. Driving around listening to WFAN in the heat and humidity.
Mike and the Mad Dog?
No longer anymore. It's Evan Roberts and Tiki Barber, I think.
Oh, he's Tiki Barber, huh?
Evan Roberts, one of the few public Nets fans out there.
Yeah, so, and he's a Mets fan. Imagine that guy's life.
Yeah,
I mean, just
isn't he a Jets fan also?
Probably. That's cut from the same.
Imagine doing that to yourself.
Probably the Islanders too. So those are the four second-class citizens in this region here. Yeah, brutal. I mean, just like the miserable tone that they have in their voices. So I don't know. Well, I'm looking forward to hearing the reports. Like I said, I mean, it's just so fascinating to think that this team is capable of almost anything. I mean, they could totally just fall flat on their face tonight, and we're having a different conversation.
AJ Preller's
one thing I will say is they're all keenly aware. Like when you talk to the players, they know they're playing for like every game counts the same. No, they don't. Like, because if winning this game gets you a couple starters now that can win you a couple more games in September, like, they know the stakes of these games.
Mason Miller, three inning save tonight. You're coming in the 7th inning tonight at the Padres.
I think Craig Stammen is the one that, like, he's tempering that a little bit, but the players themselves. Although, is he? Like, he's going after these games, and well, he should. Like, there's no harm in running Kyle Hart into the ground. Kyle Hart is happy to go 3 innings one day and 2 innings the next. So
I hope it's sustainable. And that's why I thought Manny's home run on Sunday was such a big one. Like in recent memory, I don't know that Manny's hit a bigger one than that. Down 3-1, and you're looking for the sweep against the Marlins, and he cranks one out of there. He's hit like 20 home runs this year. I don't remember many of them, but I think that's one that you'll remember. But again, depending on how the results shape out this week.
All right, AJ, prediction time. I'll see you in the press box later on today, and it should be interesting, and I'm sure we'll see Arizona. We'll talk next week, post-deadline. Give me your prediction right now.
I think they buy, and I think it's not crazy. That's and like maybe that's going out on a limb because in more times than not recently, AJ Preller has done crazy things at the deadline. But I don't think it's 2023 all over again. I don't think it's Rich Hill and G-Man Choi. I think they go with a different level of player than that. But I think there's a middle ground between that and getting Juan Soto and Josh Hader. I think they'll find two starting pitchers, maybe another bat or a reliever just to complement the bullpen. Maybe they trade. I mean, like if you're gonna do the buy and sell, like the only thing that kind of makes sense to me, like the thing that I would explore is like Wandy or Yuki, because those are two lefties who are a little bit redundant.
Okay.
If another team wants one of them, I'm okay with that. But I think my prediction is pretty much only buying, not trading Ethan Salas, not going after, not putting themselves in the conversation for those ace type guys.
D. Smith?
Yeah, I think it's a pragmatic approach. But again, a lot of this depends on the results from the week. I know we have to make these like seemingly indelible predictions every day.
Please do.
And then they get passed around on social media and everybody's like, what a fucking idiot. But, you're just a prisoner of the moment when you have to answer this stuff. And one day you're like, this team stinks and they should sell everything that's not bolted to the floor. And then the next day you're like, I don't know, maybe they got a shot here. Maybe they are one of the 6 best teams in the National League. So I think, as of today, subject to change tomorrow, I think they take a pragmatic approach and just feel like they've done enough to say, hey, are we one of the 6 best teams in the National League? If so, we'll take our chances. We're not going to go crazy. We're not going to, mortgage every little bit of the future that we have remaining around here. But, we'll take a pragmatic approach and go into the playoffs is better than not. I refuse to accept that there's like this alternate universe where not going to the playoffs is better than going to the playoffs. I just don't buy that. It's like loser talk.
If the Padres lose tonight, sell. Everybody.
Yeah, of course.
That's
everybody
how it's going to be. Everybody. Let's go. All right, buckle up, guys. It's going to be quite a week. Hey, AJ, any good beer on this long road trip?
I did not have any like beer to write home about. Atlanta, I had a couple, but I can't even remember what they were.
Okay.
And then my Miami was just working. So
yeah.
Just working in Miami, and what a shame that is.
Well, I mean, like I was able to do things in the morning before the games, like some good coffee and some good runs and got a beach cruiser and went down South Beach. That was fun. But like other than that,
I would love to ride a bike again someday when I'm medically cleared to do so. Not allowed to with my broken orbital bone.
Oh God.
So I just get to walk around and sweat here in the heat and humidity of New York metropolitan area.
I'm going to go ahead and plug the one delicious beer I had. It's from Tap Room. Do you see it? It's called Luke, I Am Your Padre. Delicious. Highly recommend. It's a free plug. Sorry.
IPA?
West Coast IPA. Oh, it's good. West Coast.
Nice.
That's great. All right. That's good. Good to see you, AJ. Gonna be a crazy week. Rockies, Giants. Shoot, 2 teams who are selling. My prediction: the Padres.
Like 2 of the only teams that are selling. There's only like 5 of them that are like established sellers. My Mets.
Your Mets.
Yeah. There's only like 5 teams that are selling too, which also makes things quite interesting. Yeah. Make the playoffs. Keep raising ticket prices.
I'll say this, Ballpark Pretzel. The one time you cannot raise ticket prices is when you go into a lockout, which it seems like, everyone thinks that the baseball is headed towards. The idea of raising ticket prices after a lockout will be insane for most teams. So that would shock me, but we'll see. That's all. That's all I've got, guys.
AJ, how about some of these national team announcements today as we just transition to international soccer for no apparent reason whatsoever? Zidane,
I'm trying to get caught up.
Claudio Ranieri to Italy. That's some interesting, and we're still waiting. What's going to happen with the U.S.? Nobody seems to know what's going on with Maurizio Pochettino. Curious, very curious.
Ranieri went to Italy. I didn't even see that.
Yeah, happened this morning. Everybody thought it was going to be Pirlo, but some scandalous situation involving him and Zidane to France. It's kind of interesting, I think. I don't know. I want to go to the Euros in 2 summers.
Yeah, that'd be fun. Start looking for Airbnbs in Dublin.
Oh,
Wow.
That'd be amazing.
that would be amazing. Have you ever been?
To Dublin? Yeah. I was there.
Have you?
Yeah. I was there 2020, right before the world ended. It was January. And I bopped around, went to a bunch of soccer games, and then went to Dublin for 5 days. Awesome place.
Yeah. You guys want to see some of my kids' pictures that are in my mother's living room?
Wow.
Probably not.
Sure.
You don't. Do you?
Nah.
You don't have to pander. I mean, you could just say no. It's fine.
Then no.
Okay.
No, are there any good ones?
I appreciate
Are there
the
any-
honesty.
What are you doing in them?
Posing. You know,
right, get the best one.
Like you'd go
Did
to
you-
like a
Let's see.
photographer.
Give me the one with the earring.
Let's see the best
Yeah,
one.
Darren-
I like kids ones.
Darren was like a long, dangly earring guy.
I was part of the 21 Jump Street era when Johnny Depp was very popular and
When
he
he
had
was
2
hot,
earrings here
super
and 1
hot.
earring here. So
Yeah.
definitely went for that. Like, all right, hold on 1 second.
Okay. Trying to get a glimpse into Darren's life. Let's see. Oh wow! Look at that blondie.
Oh, yeah.
Wait, look at that shine. Hang on. Whoa. Never
Bring
would have
back that
guessed
haircut.
Shit.
I
Holy
can't
Bring
hear
back
what you're
that
saying.
haircut.
I don't have my headphones in, but I'm sure you're saying nothing but nice things.
No,
Just bring back the haircut.
Just-
How about
That's
that
a
little
good look.
bowl cut?
Yeah.
Love
Bring it
that.
back.
That's a good look. Wow. Shocking. Bowl cut. Just man. I will never show you my pictures, I'll tell you that much. Terrible. All right, Darren. We're enjoying your trip down memory lane. Thanks for sharing with us. So we're enjoying
Bring
your trip
back-
down memory lane.
Bring it
Good
back.
stuff.
Bring back the
Yeah.
haircut.
Look at
Oh,
that one. Look at that little
Wow.
jean
There you go.
jacket outfit there. There you go.
that's wow. Yeah, you should do that. That's nice.
Yeah.
That's back. That's back. Like baggy jeans.
Yeah. Is it back? I don't know.
It's back. So back.
Marty, what'd you think of House of the Dragon?
Bloody. That was a
Bloody.
super bloody episode. And Sir Kristen Cole, the way he went out, terrible way to go. I just like so unserious. It's almost like they got tired of his character. We need to get rid of this guy the fastest way possible, and this is how we're going to do it. We're not going to have
Spoiler,
a long, drawn-out
spoiler.
scene. Boom, boom.
Plus, he didn't go out the way he thought he did.
No, but he
Thought he
did.
was going to go out as the
Songs
you know,
would be
the,
sung.
the greatest warrior of all
Yeah,
time in
just-
the Veil, and he just fucking ended it. It's
Something
over.
creepy with Amond. Just
Yep.
creepy
Yep.
dude. All right.
All right.
All right, guys.
Hope
I have to
everybody
go. I
enjoyed.
have to deal with the project. Appreciate you all so much. AJ Cassavell, you're the best. I know you have to get back to Carlo duties and other duties, and I'll see you at Petco. Remember, a bunch of game sevens, every single game this week is a game 7, and then on to Arizona, which could be either the series of regret for AJ Preller and his staff, or aha, told you so, fools.
It's a big series.
Huge series.
Either way, people will be right, and some people will be wrong,
There we go, guys.
and they're going to tell us all about it because people keep receipts. Told you this team sucked.
You don't have to
Told
look
you
at
you
the
shouldn't
reviews.
give up on this team.
So, I'm gonna go say bye to some players this homestand. Nice knowing you. Good luck.
All right, I got to go
All right, guys.
consume more New York City media. So,
All right. Thanks so much for joining us. That is Darren Smith. That's D. Smith. That is AJ Cassavell. I'm Marty Caswell. We're brought to you by the all-new Hummel Casino Resort, the Players Place. Thank you so much. We'll be back to talk to you guys tomorrow. Have a great day and go drink some cold beer. Peace out.
Just think putting my head down and focusing on today is kind of how I go about my season. And regardless of any rumors or anything like that, that's what I'm going to continue to do, you know.
Do you pay attention? To them? Do you just disregard them? Does like your family say, "Hey, this is what they're saying about you now"?
Yeah, I mean, there's chatter. I mean, there's TVs on, you know, you see stuff for sure. But, you know, the conversations you have in the locker room and with the front office and manager and all that, you know, I think those carry a lot more weight than anything you see on TV.